tunnel come up from the coast through the father. Alexander was one of the most notorious leaders. He's obviously involved in the shipwreck that's killed. And it is in fact William's own daughter. And he's stolen that money. He hasn't recognised her at all. They find a room. They didn't even know this room existed. Skeleton.
Ghosts and history go together.
Welcome to Ilfracombe, North Devon, and to a place mentioned in the Domesday Book, thought to date as far back as the 11th century. Rich with history and tales to tell, secrets to share, and reports of unexplained phenomena. This is Chambercombe Manor. In the earliest records, the manor was said to be in the possession of Sir Henry Chambercombe, who was Lord of the Manor of Ilfracombe in 1162. The Chambercombe family stayed in possession of the manor until the 15th century, when it passed through various different families until 1979, when it was donated to the Chambercombe Manor Trust. Although it is not certain when, the house lost its status as an estate and was used as a farmhouse for some time. Never losing its former grandeur, the house contains 8 period rooms, ranging from Elizabethan to Victorian. A private chapel of the Chambercombe family, originally licensed for use in 1439, original floors made from ship's decking, and a barrel ceiling in the coat of arms bedroom are some of Chambercombe's many original features. Not forgetting the now infamous haunted room, home for many years to a dark secret. Chambercombe Manor has become a hotspot for paranormal investigators who visit this place in search of the many ghosts and spirits said to reside here, and is one of the most haunted locations in the UK.
Do you want to leave home? Oh, am I crying? I don't know, do you want to leave home? Do you want to another room? Do you want another room? I don't know. We'll go into another room, come back in a bit. Let's go in another room, Alan. Come on. Oh, that's really cold.
Paranormal investigator Richard Felix has been investigating the world of the supernatural for many years and has made it his mission to find the answers to as many of our unexplained questions as possible.
I'm a guy that believes in ghosts, but I'm a huge sceptic as well. I have huge arguments with my wife and my children over that because they say you cannot be a sceptic and believe in something. But I am. I believe that there is life after death. I believe in ghosts, but I believe that at least 8 out of 10 ghosts that people experience can be explained. It was the wind blowing the door shut. The shadow going out of the room was actually a live person. You just didn't notice it. I am the chosen one. I've been put on this planet for a purpose, and the purpose is to explain to you and everyone else what ghosts really are. Because there's more to it than the Scooby-Doo side of things. I have to tell you that the vast majority of what you and the ghost hunting public out there see and hear and call a ghost is nothing more than a recording. The energy that your body is capable of harnessing, of using to keep you alive, to try and keep you alive, is so immense that it can cause a recording of you just before you died to be encapsulated into the fabric of the building. It's called the stone tape theory. The stone tape. But there is more to it. There is an intelligence as well. We're talking of a person that was once a human being and has chosen to stand. Rather than, oh, there's a ghost in here, you need to know who the ghost is, why is she here, what caused her still to be here. Because basically she shouldn't be here. She should have gone this way, that way, this dimension, this spiritual level, this plane. She shouldn't still be here. That's where I come in. Ghosts and history go together. You need to look at the two and work out why they're there. Do please tick the normal boxes. Jump by all means when something falls, drops, is thrown out, but try and find out why that's happening, because there is every possibility that it will be something logical and real rather than something paranormal. Having always been frightened of ghosts and also fascinated by the subject, Chambercombe always stuck in my mind because that was the place with that rather scary dark room with a skeleton lying in a bed, which they've now removed. It's had a lasting impression on me. So when I learned that I was actually going to do it on Most Haunted, I was very excited. And then when, of course, Marissa asked me to come back and do it again, yeah, great. I've got it to myself. Well, there was obviously a group of people, but I could do what I wanted in the place. And I just love the place. It's nice vibes. I don't think there's anything evil in there at all. But it's just a super, super haunted place with loads of history.
Among the reported sightings at Chambercombe are the spirits of 2 young girls and a lady seen walking the grounds outside the manor. There are also cold spots throughout the building, and strange images often recorded on camera, including unexplained mist clouding the pictures of otherwise clear nights, and photos of orbs said to be the first manifestation of a spirit. But through all the sightings and reports is a dark tale, a secret to be shared. A secret that perhaps unlocks some of the mystery behind the paranormal activity at Chambercombe Manor.
I'll take you back to around 1740. The owner of the house is a gentleman called Jan Vi, and one day he's working on the front of the house. He notices the thatch needs to be repaired. What's actually happened? The thatch has parted away. Underneath it's exposed a lintel. Well, this makes no sense to Mr. Vi. Lintels were there to support window frames. And he discusses it with his wife, but their overriding concern is what damage is occurring inside the house. They trace the leak up into the far bedroom. Unfortunately for them, the leak occurring beyond the wall. There's a small fireplace here, but they decide they're going to have to go through the wall to find out what damage is occurring in the house. But actually, as they go through the wall, they find a room that they knew nothing about. And as they work their way through the dust and the cobwebs to a bed in the centre of the room, surrounded by some very old drapes, and drawing back the drapes, there, lying on the bed, is the skeleton of a young lady. Now, they have no idea who this young lady is. Well, let's be honest, they didn't even know this room existed. But they decide she must have a burial. Problem is, for her to be buried at church, she would have had to have been baptised. So all they can do is take her remains out into the woodland, somewhere at the back of the house, and they bury her there. And nothing else is really known or spoken of this lady for almost 125 years, until in 1865 down in a cottage in Foy, in Cornwall. The owner of that cottage is renovating, and he removes a fireplace. And hidden in the back of that fireplace he finds a confession, signed by a gentleman called William Otway, of Chambercombe Manor in Ilfracombe. Mr. Otway lived here. He was born here in 1650. His father, Alexander Otway, was one of the most notorious leaders of the wrecking gangs here in Ilfracombe. William was brought up here in the house, not really knowing what his father did and why his father disappeared on all these dark nights. Until about age 16 or 17, he followed one night down to the bay, and he sat in the cliffs watching what was going on, and was absolutely horrified to see a shipwreck. He couldn't believe his father would be involved in such a thing, and he tried to run away back to the safety here of the house, only to be spotted and caught by two of the gang. Now you have to remember, shipwrecking was a hangable offence, so the gangs would make sure they never left a witness or a survivor. And they marched William down in front of his father, demanding action taken against him. Obviously Alexander's not going to kill his own son, so for William's safety he's sent away down to Tavistock to live on a farm with his aunt and uncle. William doesn't want to go, but he eventually agrees to do as his father says. When he gets down there, he's quite happy. He learns farming and tin mining. He meets and marries a young girl called Ellen Gregory. They have a daughter called Kate. Now things go very well, because as Kate grows up, she falls in love and she marries an Irish sea captain by the name of Duncan Tristan Wallace. And they go off to live in Ireland. William and Ellen come back here. Alexander's now been killed and the house belongs to him. But when he gets back here, it's in a very poor state of repair. And he spends all of his money just trying to repair the house. So on one fateful night in 1695, in an attempt to raise funds to repair the house, William decides to go back to doing what he saw his father did. And that is wreck a ship. He goes down to the bay with a gang of wreckers. They draw the ship in onto the rocks. The gang move in to take anything of any great value. William, he just wants to take enough to pay off his debts. Now the gang have all left, and just as William's about to leave, he hears a groan. Realises this is the body of a young lady, a passenger from that ship, her face battered and beaten by the sea and the rocks, but obviously still alive. Now either as the act of a hero or that of a guilty man, he picks her up, he rushes her back here to the house where Ellen spends 3 days tending her injuries, but on that third night she dies. But the Otways here have hit the jackpot, because this lady travelling in very fine clothing with gold and jewellery sewn into her clothing. Of course, William takes the lot. He's got a slight predicament here about how to dispose of the body, but whilst he's thinking of that, he goes down into town to pay off some debts. And on the way home, he stops at the local inn. There are soldiers everywhere, all discussing the wreck. But of more interest to William, in the corner of the room, 2 sailors sitting, discussing a passenger list. They're obviously survivors from this wreck. And William, by now quite intrigued, who is this young lady? So he gets into a conversation and eventually starts questioning them. Well, there was actually only one lady travelling on board this ship. Ladies didn't travel by ship, it was thought to be unlucky. As far as the 2 sailors were concerned, this was the reason the ship wrecked, because misfortune was brought on them by travelling with a lady on board. But see, this lady, she had influence, being married to the captain himself. Captain Duncan Tristan Wallace. Her name was Kate, and it is in fact William's own daughter. He hasn't recognised her at all. He's obviously involved in the shipwreck that's killed her. And then he's stolen that money from her. Money she was bringing home to give to her parents. Well, he rushes home to break the news to Ellen, and they're both devastated. But what now to do with Kate's body? They can't go to the authorities for a burial because too many questions would be asked. And they can't use the land here, the land being hunted. Dogs would find her and dig her up. So they decide to place her in a tomb here inside the house, just behind this wall. In the small bedroom there, they lay her on the bed and draw the drapes around the bed. Coming to the front of the house where they remove the window completely, bricking up the whole area, dropping the thatch down to cover everything they'd done, including the only thing that would give them away, and that was the lintels. Now they seal both doorways, Kate's body quite literally entombed behind the wall there. Now we know Ellen died a couple of days later, some would say as a result of a broken heart. And then William felt he could no longer stay here at the house, so he left the house, he went to stay and live out his life down in the cottage in Foy. Obviously before he died, his conscience got the better of him. He decided to write the full confession, detailing exactly what happened and where Kate's body could be found. But if I just asked you to cast your mind back to the start of my story, when I mentioned to you that Jan Vai and his wife took Kate's remains out into the woodland, unfortunately, even today, we have no idea where. So as a result, Kate's spirit is not at rest, and Kate will often still be seen and heard wandering around Chambercombe Manor.
You've got the spirit world and you've got the earth plane, and they sit side by side. If somebody opens a doorway, it means that they can walk in and out because they know we exist, whereas we use our minds to tell ourselves that they don't exist. Medium is where you talk to spirits. It's psychic and clairvoyant as well, so you can actually see into the future. Also clairaudient, which is that I hear it. She's telling me that there was a time when a lot of people died at the council. I've been able to do all sorts of things for as long as I can remember, and it's been a gradual learning to live with it and learning to live comfortably with it, and then pushing my own boundaries and learning more and more until I can sort of, because you never stop learning, so I can keep doing better. So I'm a bit of a jack of all trades because I see, hear, sense, and it'll be whichever tool the spirit want to use, whether they want to actually speak to me, whether they want to show me something in here, whether they want to impress it on me. It's a very interesting place. It's like this onion effect where there's all these different layers of time because it's a very, very old building. There's all these different levels of history going on throughout the building all the time, and also the energy that's there in the building now as it being a public house, that brings its own energy in as well. It's almost like it soaks up memories, and I think when a building does start to soak up memories, it continues to do that. A lot of buildings have got a lot of wood in them, and old wood will hold a lot more memories. That's because trees' job is to hold memories. It's a bit like the stone tape theory, okay? But trees will do the same thing. They do turn towards the sun, they do drop the leaves, you know, when the weather gets cold, they are sentient. And so they will record in their own memories anything that happens to them, any animal that comes by, any people that lean against them, they'll record that. So when you then take that and put it into a building, some of those memories go in it, as in with Chambercombe, because a lot of the wood is from old ships. People have been known to feel very seasick walking around it, and that's the memory of the wood's got of rolling with the tides. There is a very, very bolshy man in here, very bolshy. Lord of the Manor type, not very nice. And I think he could get quite aggressive, like, you know, like coming up close to you and stuff like that.
Okay, is that with everyone, male, female? Does he have any preference of who's aggressive to, or is it just...
Female more than men.
Right. Okay.
You know, but he's not very nice. He just don't like him. He's just, this is his house, this is his land, he's in charge. especially with women that don't pay any attention to it. But yeah, he's being dark here. I'm not getting a name at all, then I don't always. But he feels like he's in charge. This is his domain. There's more than him here, but he's the main one that's in this room. He's quite stout, quite a strong build for himself, but pompous and arrogant and obviously not nice. So that's the main one that's in here. There are others, but it's like they will come forward in front of him right at this time. He's the one who was stood leaning over Chris earlier when Chris was working with the camera.
Okay.
He was very curious to see what was going on. But he felt it was like he was comfortable and he was looking over Chris's shoulder. But around me, he's quite very pushy. I just get the feeling it's women he doesn't like very much. I think you're likely to get you behind stopped or something like that, just to say he can do it because he can. So that could be interesting. Psychometry, which is where you hold objects, and yeah, this beautiful chalice, which was a christening cup. Well, that's what I picked up on it, that it was actually a christening cup and one of two, that it should have been, there should have been two of them. But I mean, for me, because I love history, to hold this chalice that's about 500 years old or so, it's just like, just amazing. Everything has its own energy. When something belongs to a person, it sort of takes some of their energy as well, and you can actually read it by just holding it and tuning it and feeling the energy. The first thing I've got is that this was a gift. It's come from overseas because I'm being shown a sailing ship, and it's come from overseas. Possibly Spain, I think. But that's a possibility. There's definitely a Spanish connection with it. And to me, there should have been two of them. They were christening cups. That's why I say there should be two, because I feel as if there should have been one for each of the children. This one definitely went to the boy, but I think there's a boy and a girl connected with this. This was a gift from the father to the children, so it's the father that's travelled from overseas, because he's brought it back with him. And it's a wooden sailing ship. It's really. And I got the word merchant there, so it might have been like a merchant ship. It might not necessarily been a warship, one with guns or anything, but more carrying merchandise and stuff like that. And I'm being told holding this that I've got a lady just coming and stood next to me, and she's telling me that they did a lot with the spices and with the silks and sugar. She said they were big on sugar. Oh, I love sugar. So I don't know how far along that comes, whether it's the original one or whether this is just because it's been handed down through the family. It's also, again, female in here.
Is that related to the chalice?
It's of the family, so I don't know where she fits in there, but there's a, I don't know what name I'm getting here. I've got two names, and I don't know where they go, but it's Elspeth and Agnes, I think it is. Not always brilliant with names, but it'll always be fairly close. The woman in here, she was a cook, She ruled this with an iron fist, but she was more than a cook. She was everything. You know, she may not, she was as good, revered as much as family, but she was revered a long way around, not just within the manor itself. She's here, she's right here, and she's got this big grin on her face. You know, it's like, yeah, you talk about me like that if you like, so she can obviously hear what we're saying. Wouldn't like to get on the wrong side of her, but she is really lovely.
Is she happy with us all being here?
Absolutely happy with us being here. She gets annoyed sometimes, she's telling me, with people being in the room. So much of it, they're getting in her way as far as she's concerned. I feel as if somebody would come up here and they knew what was going to happen to them when they got in there. And they didn't like it, and it was, it's like a tray, bringing up a tray. But I feel as if this, whoever this girl is, and it's like when she got in there, in the bedroom, somebody was waiting for her, and she had to do anything he asked of her, is the best way of saying it. And she's scared. She was scared the whole time. And I don't think she's very old either. And I just heard the word maid, so maid being little young woman, unmarried woman would be a maid. Getting sickness coming from the other side of that wall. Real sickness. Feverish.
Disease.
Yeah, disease, sickness coming from the other side of that wall. Lady took to her bed and never got out of it. Lady of the family, you could tell that, her bed linen, and that's how it's being referred to as bed linen. Fear. Fear. 1538, it said 1538, but I don't know what it's about, just said.
Who was it who said that to you, or was it just something that...
My guide just said 1538. Like there's children. I did it earlier when I come round. I feel as if there's children in here sometime or other. There must have been little ones down here. There's definitely two. I think there's two younger ones and an older one. The older one was like, I'm a lady now sort of thing, but she wasn't, she was still a child. I also feel as if energy level is coming out from that table, from that corner, which could be just because they've used that corner for a lot of glass divination. So I've got to work on that to find out whether it's the actual building or whether it is just that they've used it there for building energy. I mean, I haven't done any glass divination here, but we'll have to see, because it should be attached to the room.
Okay.
Because where they've been working, they should have been working with what's in the building anyway. But what can happen, oh no, not can happen, does happen, when people do things like a board like this, which all said and done is they call it glass divination, but they like a same principle as a Ouija board that everybody hates. If they don't open up and shut down properly, then you're going to get stuff left over. If you like it, that by inviting them in, if it's not belonging to the building, then it's coming through a doorway. If you don't shut the doorway properly, then anything at once can come in. So it's one of those things. A lot of houses I've been in, private homes that have had things in them and stuff like that, you can take it straight back to somebody. Not when I go in and I find little ways and I close them down. But first you've got to send whatever don't belong back and then close them down. Otherwise they're dropped in.
Chambercombe Manor often holds paranormal evenings in which investigators from all over the country arrive for the chance to explore the manor, hoping to bump into one of its ghostly residents. Tonight, Richard Felix and Eileen King have joined members of the public in an attempt to make contact with the ghosts and spirits of this very haunted location.
Makes me feel very, very uncomfortable. I just don't want to say.
No, but I'm just asking why you feel like that. Because you've picked up on an energy.
I don't feel threatened, I just feel very, very uncomfortable. Like my space is being squashed.
Yeah, well you should, that's good. You're picking up the energy that's in this part of the room.
I don't like it. It
Right.
makes me feel very uncomfortable.
Well, what's happening here, the energy that's here is just warning you off, really. Okay. They don't particularly want you or any of us in their space. This is a certain gentleman that sits here, and he's very close to me at the moment, very close to me, and you've picked up. He's making me feel a bit sick.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I feel very like wobbly in my limbs.
Yeah, it's exactly how I'm feeling. He doesn't want us in his space. That's what he's doing to us.
Right.
He can be quite aggressive, and that's why he's making us feel, and you can feel a bit like
in
that
my
too.
heart as
Yes, yes. This gentleman, he lived in about the 1800s. He was here, but he was only a visitor. Can you pick up anything else how he was dressed?
A long coat, but long at the back, not at the front, like long at the back. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, dark hair.
He's actually walking away from us now too.
Who would you fancy putting on the bed? This lady? Are you happy?
But now?
Yeah?
Yeah, okay.
Right. We need you sort of laying straight
Okay,
down the middle
yeah.
of the bed there. If you can just let us know if you feel anything.
How many people do you think have died in this bed?
No, my heart was pounding a little bit just now, but that's settling a bit now. But other than that, no.
You can ask one of you to just, if you're happy to, just one of you to come over into this corner behind us. Right. Basically just sort of anywhere in that area. Basically what we don't want you to fold your arms across your arms or anything like that. There's certainly something here. And anything in on the bed?
Yeah, I'm feeling fine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nothing untoward happening or anything like that? No.
It feels to me like there's energy building. Feels female, angry.
Yeah?
Female and angry.
Okay.
Elderly female and
Yeah,
angry.
okay.
Antagonising them because I'm on
Possibly, but that's what we're actually hoping. Well, I'm hoping that she will actually go for you.
And
Because you're
she's
on the
getting
bed.
really,
Ow.
really, she's getting really nervous.
Are you comfortable with me saying that?
Well, sort of.
I got the feeling
You're alright, Wendy.
that I want to move.
Right.
You alright?
You're alright.
I feel as though my head's being pushed down.
Do you want to get out of this room?
I think I want to move away from the bed.
Right, come on then.
Good, she's putting to bed. She's feeling as if she's putting the bed to bed.
Just take the
Right down Wendy's back.
She's using you as a channel
Yes.
to do what she likes.
Oh, Wendy. Okay.
Come on,
Wend,
Another big step, Wendy.
come back, Wendy.
Come on.
Come back, Wendy.
Chair
Ask
right
him to-
behind you.
Right.
Right. Just,
Now you pull away from her. Wendy, you've got to come forward to us. Be stronger than her, Wendy. Push her back.
push it back,
That's
Wendy.
it. Push her back. Push her down and push her out. Okay?
Got my hand on your head.
Now send everything above your head. All that beautiful energy that we're giving you. Right? And push her out of it. All right? Good girl. Doing really well.
Yeah.
Push her out. Don't let her be stronger than you. You're a strong woman. You say it. All right? Right. You want to come out of this room for a bit? You ready to walk?
Just stand up first and then just take a few steps and see how you go, alright? Yeah. Okay. Might be coming.
Okay, that's my hand.
Just stand there for a minute and then my legs are shaking.
Yeah, we're not going to let you go in.
We won't let you go.
Don't shake.
Okay, give me your
I
hand.
think she'll
We're
need
going that
some-
way. We're going to take you through into the other room. I was aware of a woman's spirit. She was all over the room. She was very angry at somebody lying on the bed. And you were stood at the end of Wendy, was stood at the end of the bed. holding
I was
on to
over
her.
there and then something made me come to the end of the bed.
And then she wanted to move, but she wanted to move away, but she found herself stuck and she found her head going further and further down. To me, it looked like she was one of those old ladies that bend over with the widow's peak. It looked to me like you were doing that. And you couldn't move away, and I could see you were getting stressed, so Tony and I came over to help you.
My legs and that just would not move. It was just as I was glued to the floor, you know, but I could feel that. It was like anger, you know, and I had no teeth. That's all that I was worried about. But the pain here, I mean, it's still hurting, you know, at the back of my neck because it was being literally pushed over, you know, and it was so painful.
So is it pressure like actually
Here.
in the bones itself?
It was here, pushing there, right over.
I'm going to try and help Wendy later, give her some tools to be able to ground herself back again.
Okay.
Which is a problem sometimes when people are developing and doing this, and you are just developing it, aren't you? to some
Yeah,
extent?
and I had that, and another thing has just come back to me. I had that thought in my head. I was looking across the bed, and it must have been you there, and I was thinking, you're mad. And I just got this, I was going, you're mad?
Yeah, it's very
I was so
strange.
cross.
With the night only just begun, it would seem that spirits of Chambercombe Manor have made their presence known. Whilst Eileen returns to the Victorian room, we join Richard inside the chapel as he attempts to make contact with the other side through the use of a device known as a novelus.
If a spirit, if there is a spirit, if there is such a thing, and you all put your fingers on a glass, and it can influence a glass moving and spell, then why can't something that we know for a fact that spirits influence electrical stuff, be they your computer, the telephones and all that sort of stuff, if there's 500 words in there, why can't a spirit pick these words and talk to us? Who would like to wear the headphones and come on, you can have, come on. Because basically, because you're going to have to narrate back, because obviously what we should have really is a speaker,
Okay.
so we could all hear it, but we can't, so you're going to be our speaker.
Okay.
And we're going to just ask, basically, respectfully ask if there is a spirit, a soul, someone that is still here, especially in this very special, this rather hallowed place that we're in now, a place of emotion, possibly a place of fear. Because if there were Roman Catholic priests in here and they were in fear of Queen Elizabeth's soldiers finding him, perhaps if your emotions are still here, or if you're still here now, if you could talk to us. If you could tell us your name, or if there is someone here, if you could use this machine that I have in my hand, it has 500 words in it. You can pick those words, use your energy, and communicate with us through this machine. It may seem rather strange to you, but it is possible.
Back in the Victorian room, psychic and owner of the manor, Christine Holloway, attempts to bring forward the female spirit.
Let's ask to draw her forward then to the bed. Let's, if you can cope with it. Is anybody seeing anything above the lady in the bed? Look at the face. Look, you can't see her face. The dark.
Yeah.
How are you seeing this lady dressed?
I see her in sort of, she's in white,
Right.
okay, and she's grey hair, and she's like, oh, I don't know what she's got around her shoulders, I'm not sure.
Is it a dress that she's wearing?
It's a sort of dress, yeah.
It's, the only reason I asked that is because earlier Eileen picked her up, she thought she was in a night dress.
Well, this is what I say, it's white, but it's
Right.
like a dress, but it is a nightgown.
Has she got any teeth?
I don't see teeth, but
Because the one thing Wendy said when we got her downstairs was, have I got any teeth?
Apparently, Wendy was saying that when she was stood here, she was looking at me and was you know.
Anything? Nothing. But it was actually working before you.
Must be me.
Please try very hard and use the collective energies of the people in this room now, in this chapel. There must be energies left here in this room. There is someone who once held communion here, was once in this room in fear, or any happy events that happened here. If you could communicate with us now through this machine, pick one of the 500 words and let us have it.
Back upstairs, Christine moves the group into the Tudor room, where Eileen senses the spirit of a young girl.
Like she, in a minute she's going to come right through, but it's like she objects to everybody being here, anywhere up here. She just doesn't like it. And it's like she wants peace. She's so angry, but she's also so very sad.
I don't know. Absolutely nothing. Nothing coming through.
What
at
I've
all.
got is just like a constant tone, which is probably.
Oh no, no. Well, it actually talks. It actually talks. Talk, for God's sake! Oh, sorry.
This being a religious space, would it help if we like to the Lord's Prayer or something?
I mean, there's no telling what might happen. Yeah, we could try anything.
Do you want to start it?
Yeah.
I'm waiting for you.
Yeah, go on.
Go on, start it. Does everyone else
Come on,
want
then.
to?
Yeah, come on, then. Our Father,
Right,
who art in
Who art
heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come, thine will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
So why'd you do it to me? Why'd you do it to me? Why'd you take me out? Why didn't you leave me alone? Why didn't you leave me where I was? I don't want everybody looking at me. I don't want to evil. You're absolutely evil, all of you. It wasn't me, it wasn't me. I didn't do it, it wasn't me. Why did I get the blame? It wasn't me. I didn't do it. Don't touch me, don't touch me, don't touch me, don't touch me. You evil. Evil. Leave me alone. You know me. You run hell! You run hell! Why did you do this? Go away! They're coming to get me! They're coming to get me! Oh, don't leave it! Go away!
It's a strange noise. I mean,
It's me. Also,
I don't know.
That's what we heard crying.
Was there someone I did, but I
There is
think
a
it's
door
not
that sounds like a
door.
baby crying as well. One of the
I've
doors.
heard a lady crying. A lady.
I just heard-
I said to the lady on the stairs, is there someone crying or what? I
Is
heard
there
the
someone in
sound
another
you heard,
room
but I
doing something, crying or something?
That for some reason I feel as if she was bound, tied. It was one man that did this to a one man. Well, only one man, but I do, I feel as if my hands are tied. She shouldn't be here. She shouldn't be here, honest. I don't do trance mediumship at all. I mean, I have a real fear of, to me, and I mean, trance mediums probably argue with it, but to me, to actually give your whole mind and body over to a spirit, to me, is quite scary, you know. But what I will do is, if I feel a spirit coming in, and this particular lady at Chambercombe had been sort of following me, and I knew she was there, and I thought, well, I'm going to go up and find out what she wants, and Christine insisted, which is good, that somebody came with me. You just allow the spirit to come in, and you sort of lower your consciousness, sort of switch off, almost go into daydream mode, and allow the spirit to move through you, but you're still there, and you're still ready to push yourself back out if you if you need to, and take back control of yourself. So it's just working with them on a very deep level, really. I don't know if it makes sense to say that you do a sort of grieving process for it very quickly, and you grieve for that person, not for yourself, and all the pain that they went through and the anxiety that they'd gone through. You can't come that close to anybody, either physical or in spirit, and not feel those emotions and not be touched by them. So, you know, you do have to be very aware of that before you try it. Almost one of those don't try this at home things, because, you know, you don't. It's very scary, and it could stay with you. You've got to know how to push it out. You've got to know how to ground yourself afterwards and make sure no residual stuff is left over from that, so that you can view it as it was another person, not you. I hear myself as if I hear my voice like it's down the end of one of those tin telephones, so I don't actually hear it really clearly. I'm just aware that she's going on, and I knew she was extremely distressed. It was when I came back from it, I knew that she just didn't want to be there in Chambercombe. She'd had enough. She'd been treated really abysmally, really, and they'd actually tied her to a chair, because I remember being in this chair, and although my hands were free, I felt as if they were tied, and it was like, okay, well, I'm going to allow this to sit there with that and just go with the flow, really, with it. This is no place to be. Wasn't a happy place. It's never a happy place. I don't know who the man is because I'm not getting any names or anything. I do know he was in charge of the household. It was his household, and I do know that he really didn't care for anybody but himself. And he wasn't even lecturers, it was lustful, and he just did what he liked, with who he liked. And they accused her of going mad. I would say she was depressed, but I wouldn't say she was mad.
And so, with the night already producing some very interesting results, it would appear that the unseen residents of Chambercombe Manor have made their presence known. After an already fascinating evening, what more could our visitors possibly expect to see? Is there more to come this night? From the Chambercombe ghosts. The night continues, with the investigators experiencing strange sensations, cold spots and unease. Could it be that their minds are playing tricks in the dark? Or is the manor living up to its reputation as one of the country's most haunted locations? Moving into the kitchen, Tony begins to feel the uncomfortable presence of a male spirit.
Is he still pushing you in the back?
Oh, he's going right down the back of my neck now. So why is he
Picking on you?
No, why is he going for my back? Just got this uncontrollable shakes in my legs.
That's influence.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
That's alright. Are you alright?
Yeah.
Right, so I know this sounds really daft, but I want you to just breathe deeply and really centre yourself from the solar plexus out, and just really centre yourself and not allow you to pull you around.
I feel like I want to surf.
I was just going to say that, like, you're
That's the only way I can keep my balance.
So what are you feeling?
My neck is absolutely freezing.
The investigators crowd into the Chippendale room alongside Richard and Eileen in order to attempt communication with the spirits using glass divination, said to be a form of contact with the afterlife, in which a person's finger is placed gently on an upturned glass and yes and no questions are asked of spirit, who then in turn uses the person's energy in order to move the glass in response. Having already begun, they appear to have made contact with a young girl called Tilly, the same girl earlier channeled by Eileen.
I'm going to bring Chris in now. She's going to talk to you and she's going to help you. The next voice you hear will be Chris's.
Eileen and I are here, and we are, and we are definitely going to help you to move on. And
Just check she knows where I am.
Eileen, do you know where she is? Yeah. Okay, so we need you to get closer to Eileen if you can. Can you come to us? Can we get you?
I know what I need to do, but I need to find her and do it. No, I'll be alright.
No.
She's a child and you've got to give her something.
Oh, just hang in there till
If you
everything's
can
great.
breathe, I'm going to do it there.
right over, we want you to come please, to the end of the table now. Oops, we're off the table. Off the glass.
Yes.
Oops. Okay, Tilly.
Don't go any further.
No, let it go on the floor. John away.
You can see her, she's here with
Yeah.
you.
Can you see her, Tilly?
Feel excitement?
Yes,
Yeah.
most definitely. God, I've gone so cold. Okay, Tilly.
Yeah, she's going to see her. She wants to say bye-bye.
Yes.
Say bye.
Bye, Tilly.
Okay,
Bye,
bye.
Tilly.
Godspeed.
Just hesitating a little.
Eileen attempts to send Tilly through to the other side, away from the abusive man now discovered as being her father, via a doorway opened psychically. But Tilly appears to be hesitating.
Big girl. She's very clever. Did she have something wrong with her foot?
Interesting.
To make the smoke alarm go
I think you all need to be
Focused.
focused on this girl because we need her to move on. So focus yourself on her moving on. See that bright light, somebody coming down and taking her. And it has to be this beautiful light. And just tell her to go in your mind. Just tell her to go. It's all right for her to go. Blonde hair.
Richard wants to say goodbye to you.
Yes.
Oh, Tilly, that's fantastic. Goodbye to you, my love. I hope that you leave father behind here. He can stay here. He can rot in hell here. I just want you to enjoy the rest of however long you've got, eternity. It's time you went. It's time you enjoyed yourself. And may your God go with you and Godspeed to you. Bye.
Would you want me to do that then?
It's going to be nice to meet now.
With everyone happy that Tilly had passed over, the investigation moved to the Great Hall for an attempt at table tipping, an experiment which usually involves a group of people gently touching a tabletop, and then, in similar fashion to glass divination, the spirit uses the energy of the group in order to move the table. Unfortunately, during this experiment, the batteries of the 2 night vision cameras used to film this investigation both died, despite being fully charged and having enough power to last longer than this night. Our only remaining cameras continue to record, however, in the dim candlelight.
So you used to live here, yeah? No, no one is doing that, are they? No. Okay. Well, I have to ask the question. You know, so that's fine. Can you move the table again for us? Or are you master of the house? Okay. Son off. Okay, calm down. Big squish.
If you gather all this energy, I'm sure you could give us an absolute treat and lift the table off the floor. Come on, I can feel you doing it.
Yes. Where are you trying to take us? I think they're trying to show to a particular spot?
Are you taking to a spot where someone died? Yeah? Well, take us to it then. Take us to the exact spot where the body was, or where the person actually died.
Will you do that for us? Go to that particular area, please. Nobody's moving now, no, honestly.
Yeah, somebody is, but
Yeah,
they're
somebody
dead.
So it's got to be roughly here. Is this correct?
Absolutely loved it. I mean, a phenomenal place. And I think the table tipping was the best I'd ever experienced. That was absolutely quite amazing. Like I said earlier, I keep learning new things and new stuff. You keep pushing your own experience. And that was a new experience for me. And so obviously, just without a shadow of a doubt, paranormal.
One of the most amazing things actually that happened at Chambercombe for me was near the end of the night, and it was getting very late, 2-ish, 3-ish in the morning, the right time for energies and all that sort of stuff. And the lady there, she was saying that they could get this table to move round the Great Hall. And we're talking of a huge oak table. I'm not talking about a little metal table or a wooden table that can move easily. I'm talking about a stonking great, hefty table. And she's on this table, and we're there, and I'm doing it on the... And all of a sudden, this huge table starts moving.
There's Richard Felix underneath the table having a look to see whether there was anything, maggots or whatever. I don't quite know what he was looking for.
I've never seen anything like it. And I'm actually doing this with my hands on the table, looking underneath to see who's pushing it with their feet. And they weren't. I don't know how it happened. It was moving through spirit. I don't know, but I presume. I've never actually. I got home and I remember telling everyone about it when I got home, that I'd actually witnessed this huge table moving with us standing around it. And I presume it's the energies of, because that's what table tilt is all about, the energies of the people and possibly a spirit that's harnessing the energy. No one person could physically have pushed that table with their fingers. There's no doubt about that. It was too big and too heavy. That's why I was looking for someone's foot or feet, physically trying to move it. But it was going this way, and it was very good. I really found that fascinating. And apparently it happens regularly, because the lady, the medium, the resident medium down there was, just sort of quite matter of fact about, right, we're going to get this table to go around the room now. Couldn't believe it. The obelisk. It's got 500 words in it. And the idea is that a spirit, soul, entity, intelligence, call it what you will, if it has the capability of being able to move your fingers with a planchette to various letters, then why can't it pick up one of 500 words that are stored in a machine? Because ghosts are supposed to be very good with electronics, switching off your computer, the lights, the microwave, whatever it happens to be. And so that's the reason behind the thing, that a ghost should be able to pick the words and talk to you, respond. But I must be honest with you, I don't think we had a particularly good session with it. But of course, perhaps there was nothing in that room. Perhaps. Because, they're not always there, Ghosts are not always there to talk to you. It may be a haunted room, but the ghost might be, as Derek Acora would say, in visitation. That means they might be visiting somebody else tonight. Perhaps.
Richard, Ollie, he's lovely. He's absolutely lovely and so enthusiastic. But he's like that whether the camera's on or not. He's just absolutely lovely and a mind of information. Oh, we were having a conversation and I was telling him something that I'd experienced one night up at Harford Moors near Ivy Bridge. There's a particular stone, if you stand on it, it's like you almost go to other worlds. His jaw actually dropped open. And it was when at that point he actually said to me, I wish I'd met you before I'd done the Devon DVD. Well, never mind, there's going to be a second, so I'm looking forward to that. I hope he remembers.
That was a good one.
In the land of Devon, hidden away in a valley of Ilfracombe, lay a place both of beauty and mystery. Chambercombe Manor, as told in the Doomsday Book, has much to tell in its history. A hidden chamber with a secret to share, and tales of those that have passed, those that still wander the grounds of this place, whose names will eternally last. Join us one night until morning light, accompanied by the friendliest of hosts. Put your fears to one side and turn off the lights as we search for the Chambercombe ghosts.
Next time a scientist tells you there are no such things as ghosts, and we have a scientific explanation, of course there's a scientific explanation for all of it, every bit of it. But just remember, when they tell you there's no such thing, that for the last 400 years, men with letters after their names, astronomers, have peered into the night sky with their telescopes, looking at things that no longer exist. Dead stars. Because by the time the image of that dead star travels the millions of light years towards this planet, when it reaches the lens of your telescope, what are you looking at? Is a ghost of something that once lived. But there are no such things as ghosts, are there? Oh, yes, there are. I promise you.